Okay, apparently we're live. Woo, woo, woo. Oh yeah, I have to do my obligatory checks just to make sure that the listing has worked and I'm actually live. Yes, I see my face. Good. Okay, I can close that. Hello, Rachel. Welcome. Wow, you're the first one here. Celebrate. Excuse me, I need a wee drink of water before we get going. How's your week been, Rachel? Just for anybody who is watching the replay or joining us on YouTube after we are live, please let me know that you have joined us. Use the hashtag replay. Hello, Megan. Alley-oop to YouTube. What? Hello. Yes, so just let me know that you have been watching and use hashtag replay, answer any of the questions that I ask to folks that are here. Hey, Sandra, welcome. Oh no, headaches can be just an absolute nightmare. So I hope you're feeling better. And that's great. I'm glad you had a good week, Megan. Sandra, how's the baby doing in that belly? Oh, okay. Rachel is dealing with virtual school. Wait. Oh yeah, okay, it's the end of August. I was like, wait, it's too early. What? No, I get it. When do you guys break off for summer then in America? I know that in Northern Ireland it's different from the rest of England. So in Northern Ireland we would have finished for our summer holidays at the very end of June and then not gone back until the first week in September. So we got like a good solid 2 months of rain. Lots of rain. Yay, Sandra, that's good news. Okay, so I'm very glad that you're joining me today. And today's topic, I know just from talking to you through comments and through the DMs and stuff, a lot of us have been feeling a bit bleh, like a lot, quite a bit actually, struggling to be motivated or inspired or just bothered, cannot be bothered, just not even motivation. I couldn't even get the botheration to be bothered to do anything creative. So, oh, okay. Well, it's nothing but rain here, Rachel, so we don't have that excuse. So I wanted to cover some of the things that you can do whenever you're in that kind of emotional space of just bleh, feeling fatigued a lot. Maybe you are dealing with a lot of anxiety and stress, which is going to contribute to your fatigue, which you're going to know if you have watched our energy management workshop, which you can access via the coaching vault. Actually, I'll stick that banner up in case you want to join and watch it, because the energy management replay is not available anywhere else apart from inside that vault. And I know that I've covered in quite a few of our lives why anxiety sorry, Dave, I was just reading your question. Hello and welcome. Yes, I can work with clients like that. It's, if you want a creative outlet to work through those things, then absolutely I can work with you on that. Lovely to have you here, Dave. So yeah, it can be very difficult when you are dealing with stress, worry, or anxiety to get in that mode where you want to be creative, even though you know that your creativity is going to help you boost your mood, right? Sometimes just boosting your mood and knowing, because I know I say it all the time, like why creativity and crafting and doing things with your hands, like even practicing your handwriting or writing a book by hand or writing in your journal, like those things are all brilliant for your mental health because you are doing focused work with your hands, which allows you to relax, which allows your cortisol levels to reduce, which allows your subconscious to just process all of that information that it has been dealing with, whether it is through stressful life events, whether it is through your work week, whatever it is. And that has a real benefit, especially when you're going to sleep at night, because you haven't been like scrolling on your phone all day, or your brain just hasn't been active all day. you will not get that constant chatter. Like as soon as you put the phone down to go to sleep, you won't be like, oh, do you remember this? Oh, because that's what would have happened to me. And then I was finding I would go to bed and I wasn't getting to sleep for 2 hours because I wouldn't shut up. So it's an excellent, all of those activities are excellent for your mental health. But whenever you don't feel like you are in any kind of a creative space to make anything substantial or worthwhile or fulfilling or whatever it is. Hey Susan, and welcome. Lovely to have you here. It can be really difficult, and because you know how good it is for your mental health and you know you should be doing it, that word should, I should be, I hate it, because you end up feeling like you are less than, and you end up feeling like you should be doing things, and when you don't do those things, you end up admonishing yourself. Yes, well, that would be exactly why, because focused work with your hands is fantastic. After World War One, they used to, doctors used to recommend basket weaving to soldiers who had quote unquote shell shock, which we now know as PTSD, and it helped to alleviate their symptoms. They didn't know why at the time, but thankfully scientific reports over the last 40 to 50 years have just continually proven why arts and crafts and doing that kind of focused work with your hands, including gardening and like developing and creating a beautiful gardenscape, that also is creative work. Like I couldn't do that. And then doing all of that hard work where they are putting in plants and everything, it's so rewarding. So it's even better for your mental health. But I know as spoonies, we don't really get to do that. I just wanted to include it because that focused work with your hands is really, really fantastic for your mental health. But as I said, when we feel like we should be doing something, we can end up admonishing ourselves, making us feel worse, making it harder to grasp that kind of creative feeling in those creative moments when you feel like you should be writing or you should be painting or you should be doing anything. It's like, no. I do not use the word should. You can desire to write, you can desire to create, but if you're not feeling it, it's really important that you know and remember that it's okay, because our emotions are going to be up and down all the time, and that is okay. You're allowed to feel your feelings. You're allowed to feel in a bit of a slump because of whatever is going on around you. The best thing for you to do is to take care of yourself. Do some love and kindness meditations. Do some journaling if you can. You don't even need to be inspired to journal. I know that I have asked a few people about journaling and they said that they didn't do it because they were sick of writing the same thing every day. I would really recommend you go into the Facebook group and watch our journaling workshop, which is under guides or units. It's either guides or units, but the journaling workshop is titled, it's all in there, and I explain exactly how you can journal without just saying what you're doing every day, because that's not really what a journal is. And I remember I had a journal. It was a massive notebook. There was one thing written in it from whenever I was maybe 8 or 9. And it'll only be people in the UK that are going to get this. But the only thing that was written inside the journal was, I love take that. That was it. I wish someone had taught me how to journal and how to explore feelings and what feelings were. But I didn't have that until I was much, much older. But now it's something I do not every day, but most days, and I can do it either on paper or I can do it on my phone. And let me just read what Dave said here. Well, Dave, you are doing an excellent job being here. That's kind of like the first step. So well done. Megan, do you know who take that out? I don't know if they were international, were they? So the first thing that I do whenever I feel bleh or meh or too tired to work. I had one of those days this week. It was Tuesday. I was like, I feel like I've been run over by a steamroller. I cannot do it. I can't even find thoughts in my head. I don't know. Like, I had a list of stuff for me to do, but I was so tired. I could not do it. Okay, now who said that? I was about to burst into song there, but I won't. Oh, that's so true, because so you'll know who Gary Barlow is and Robbie. Oh, Robbie Williams went on to America's Got Talent? Or was it Britain? Anyway, I've got off track. So I had that day, and I was to myself, I was going, I should, and I was like, no, you shouldn't do anything. You will, because you choose to, you will rest. You will watch TV that you enjoy. You will make sure you have a nap. You will make sure that you meditate. You will make sure that you bust out that quote unquote emergency self-care toolkit that you have. It's not a physical toolkit, but it's like a series of exercises that I just go through when I'm feeling pants, just to raise my energy level and to make me feel good. And I have this little neuro-linguistic programming trick that I like to use, and I just need to hit this, and it's like a little happiness button, which kind of floods me with really positive emotions even when I'm feeling tired and a bit crappy. So on Tuesday, after I had a word with myself, I was like, no, you're choosing to rest. You're allowed to rest. Isn't it wonderful that you get the chance to choose to rest? And I just hit that wee button and just lived in those positive emotions. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to enjoy this switching off time. And it's important that if you are forcing yourself to write or create or anything like that, you're kind of fighting against the waves, and you don't have to. You just need to just kind of remove yourself a little bit, take some self-care time, look after yourself, and really figure out what it is that would benefit you the most. So maybe in terms of meditation, would it be a self-love, kindness meditation, or a forgiveness meditation to make you feel like you're allowed to take time off, because you are? Just make sure to take a break. It can be a day, it can be a weekend, it can be an afternoon. It doesn't really matter, as long as you spend some time away from technology or away from your supplies and anything that's too stimulating, so you can actually relax, because your brain and your body really do need time to rest. And like I said, there are days whenever I am too exhausted to do anything, and I'm kind of only in a position to watch TV. And it's in those days, I've been very honest about this in the past, I would have struggled with feeling a whole lot of I should be doing this, and I would feel pants. But now I have got all of these exercises I can do, I can hit my little button, and I can still be exhausted, know that I'm missing work, and still feel good and positive about what is coming. And taking that time off is really important, because it helps you to re-energize. And of course, resting and exercise are going to be important in there too. Dave, I think that there are a couple of Monday coaching videos that would be incredibly helpful for you to watch. They are all the stress related ones. I think there's one specifically, what you need to know about the effects of stress and fatigue, because a lot of people don't realize that dealing with stress and anxiety can really exacerbate and cause fatigue. So whenever I'm feeling stuck as well, one of my favorite things to do is maybe clear a wall or declutter. It really makes me feel like I am making space for something new to be cultivated inside of me, whether that is inspiration or whether that is motivation, whatever it is. It feels like I am clearing physical space for that to happen. And it's very difficult to do that kind of thing when you feel like you're just surrounded by crap. Like, even if you're just tidying your desk, that can be really good for you. It really can, and it can make you feel really good. And excuse me while I just take a wee sip of water. what I would say is, if you are feeling like you have to take a whole day off instead of just an afternoon, know your priorities. Because you might have chores, you may have kids, you may have stuff that you really, that will be getting done no matter how you feel. And I find that making and arranging any chores or important stuff into a list helps me stay organized. And I use post-its then to prioritize whether that is the thing that needs to be done right now, whether I can do that a wee bit later, whether that could be moved to next week, or I can delegate it and get my husband or somebody else to do it. And if I get everything finished up, I will then be allowing myself plenty of time to rest, recuperate, or even go through the exercises to help you feel a bit better. And once you've decluttered, you can organize what you've got left. You can just arrange it on the desk beautifully. You can put magazine things on the wall and, excuse me, just going to look at Megan, what's she saying? Yes. Yeah. Tidying up, it's incredible just having that space to just breathe and just, oh, it frees up a lot of time as well. If your craft supplies are organized, or your writing, whatever it is, if your things are organized, your digital files are organized. Hello, Mum. Thanks for joining us. If your digital files are organized, it makes it so much easier to create. It makes the whole process a lot more streamlined, and it frees up a lot more time for you to create. And after you tidy up as well and do that decluttering, I think I always love to clean my desk, like, because usually there's tea stains all over it. Tea stains and bits of paint. So I really like to clean my desk and have it clean. And I will have like one journal on it if I'm working on my iPad, or if I'm painting, I will have just the supplies that I need. You guys know, you've been to my workshops before, like everything is within easy reach, so it can be easily put away afterwards. And something else that you would want to do whenever you're feeling like this, maybe you are resting on the couch, and maybe you are ruminating on feeling this way, you may want to assess your habits, like the way that you work leading up to the creative time. And I'm just going to say creative time so that writing and all is included, so that you can figure out, okay, so when I do this, this happens. When I do this, this happens. Then I am peak creative, and then this happens and this happens and this happens, and I feel great. And you can do this kind of assessment not in one afternoon, but over a period of time if you want, if that's something that you think will be incredibly helpful for you. So for, just as an example, I found that I had stopped creating and crafting altogether for a couple of months, and I didn't even notice that it had happened until I felt really crappy, and I was like, oh, what is this? Because I had several bad days in a row, which isn't like me. It's normally just like a one-off every few weeks. And I was, oh, what is this? What is this? And I was just trying to figure out, like, what has been missing the past few months that I was doing before when I felt really good. And I was like, oh, crafting. Okay, crafting and painting. All right. And then I went up to my craft room and I opened it and I went, oh, that's why. Because I had taken a big box out of my Kallax unit, my big IKEA unit. And because it was massive and everything was just stored in there, I had tipped it out on the floor because I was looking for something, picked the thing I was looking for out, and then just moonwalked my way out of that space and shut the door and didn't go in there again. So that registered as a subconscious block in my brain. Like, it was too messy. So there was no way I was going to be creative. So I just didn't go up there. And that is why I ended up developing the challenge about sorting everything and getting everything organized for my craft space when I ordered my dream box, because I really wanted it to make sense. And I really thought about it. I didn't think about it for very long. It was like maybe an afternoon while I was looking at my dream box, and I was like, what is the most logical way for me to organize this? Because I remember when I moved into the house, I was that tired, you know, by the time I had got there, like I'd done all the steps and we were so close to the finish line. I was like, just put everything in wherever, just as long as it looks pretty. Like, no, do not do that. What you want to do is think about it logically. You want to think about the crafts that you do most, and you can set it up so it is a lot easier for you to craft, right? That Dreambox unit that I have, it allows me to go up there, lift out a tote of the supplies that I'm using, craft for 15 minutes, just put the stuff back in the tote quickly, put it away, and then I'm able to lift out my iPad and work there. It's so much easier than it was before. And when I'm in my own house, it's not my house at the minute, yeah, I'm doing that every day before I'm doing work. So assessing your habits can be incredibly rewarding as long as you feel up to it. I don't want you to do any of these things if they make you feel negative. I want you to do as much as you can to feel really good. That's your only job here. It's not to create. It's not to be more creative. It's to feel good. It's to do things that make you feel good and make you feel happy, or things that you think will get you there. And the moment that you realize being creative is about enjoying the process, that's whenever you'll feel free feel free to try words, Claire, new techniques, or just even sitting down to write, whatever it is. And I know I asked in the Facebook group yesterday people's favorite things to do whenever they were feeling uninspired. I loved Angelita's answer because it was very much like mine. And that is to watch comedy, because laughter releases those feel-good hormones. It's pretty much why I solely watch either true crime or comedy. And honestly, it's about 70-30 comedy to true crime. So I laugh as much as I possibly can to release all those feeling good hormones, and doing whatever I can to feel good, because that is my only job. Whenever I feel good, the rest will follow. Like, you become so magnetic whenever you feel good, and people want to be around you, and people want to create with you, and it's important not for anybody else but for you. And hello, who said that? Sandra, who is it? Hello and welcome. And I also loved Lisa's answer about looking through books, like craft books, or looking on Pinterest is also a good idea. And I love the way on even Facebook and Instagram, you can save things in wee folders. So if you see things that you absolutely love, you can just create a little inspirations folder and keep it there for later. And unless you have a group of friends who are also crafters and you can spend the evening in silence making stuff, well, I suppose with COVID, nobody has a group of crafters. Sorry. I was just about to say, like, learning from others is excellent. But with COVID, I suppose that's moved online. I have never really had that option due to my disabilities, but I love to join online classes and workshops. Workshops are a great idea to join. I have learned so many new skills and techniques from online classes, which, like hand lettering, how to draw, blogging, and it was within 6 months of me learning how to hand letter that I became a published hand lettering artist. I also, yeah, if you mean in person, yes, I do know what you mean, but I love those kinds of online meetups, because my favorite day is Friday, because we get to do this. And I know Dave is new here, but usually every week we are creating something together. This is a bit of an unusual one, but I thought it was very important, judging by the conversations I've been having with folks in the group. But yeah, us connecting on a Friday is so much fun. I absolutely love it. And I love just dedicating even more time to create and doing it for and with you guys. It makes me so happy. So yeah, online classes are a great way to make new friends in your creative field as well. There are like usually discussion boards and things. Hey Claire, I gotcha. And I'm excited to share about your course as well, or your wee workshops that you're going to be working on. Yeah, yes, I've been there. And I think the last thing that I would cover, oh yay, thank you so much. I will be adding more. I have I went a bit mental and created a load of kind of like journal templates and self-love kind of exercises to encourage just more self-love. So I will be adding those to the group, I think, just in the PDF section, but I'll let everyone or into the vault, and then I'll let everybody know in the group and through email. So yeah, the last thing that I would just list on those exercises of what to do when you're feeling bleh is lose your expectations. So you're allowed to have expectations. Of course you are. You are allowed to expect things of yourself, but the problems come when your expectations are too high, or they're very high, like unattainably high. And those can come from outside influences. It can be part of like perfectionist behavior, but as I always say, perfect does not exist. It just doesn't. You will never see two petals on a flower that are 100% identical, yet they seem to make the most stunning, beautiful roses ever. So nothing is ever perfect. I always have found that the beauty lies in the imperfections, but it's not even just about creating. It's about when you feel you haven't created, you will be disappointed in yourself. And because creating is kind of like a goal for us, whenever we set a goal and we don't reach it and we're disappointed in ourselves, what that actually does is that registers in our subconscious as a subconscious block, which means that you will struggle to then create further down the line because of that subconscious block. And we don't always notice when those subconscious blocks register in our brains. I know that I covered all this in day one of our challenge, which is available inside the Facebook group under units. And I also shared how you can go through and figure out what they are, clear them, and then work towards getting what you want. And I will have to definitely look that up. So I'll have a wee look at that book. Thank you very much for that recommendation. But whenever you lower your expectations, so I'll share an example. My friend used to make these to-do lists on their one day off, and there would be like 15 things on that list, and there would be 15 things that are at least 10 of them would take an hour to do, and he would get maybe 2 of them done, and then he'd be furious that he didn't get the rest of them done. And I was like, why have you put so much pressure on yourself to achieve like a week's worth of stuff in just a matter of hours? And I really recommend it. I was like, yeah, always. You can have a list of 15 things, but you choose the top 3 most important. And if you get those done, then you have knocked it out of the park. And that is a win. And that is something that you celebrate. And whenever you get those 3 things, make sure you celebrate. You really need to make sure that you celebrate. And I know that Lisa and I had an interesting kind of chat about celebrating during the week, because she felt that she was raised to think that celebrating things like that and celebrating wins and stuff like that was bragging and braggadocious. And it's my opinion, that's just an opinion, that when it comes to celebrating, if you are doing it with real joy and real gratitude that you have actually achieved something despite the odds against your spoonie self, I think that that's okay, because it does inspire and uplift others, especially other spoonies who don't believe that they can do these things. And I think it becomes bragging when you start to pull people down, or you start to inject negative statements or snidey comments, or be like, oh, look at me, but don't look at them, I did much better. Or somebody celebrates something and you're like, well, I did this 10 times better. Like, you know what I mean? You can always do these things with positivity and kindness and generosity of spirit, instead of just being all, look at me and look at how fabulous I am. You know what I mean? And celebrating with the gratitude and love is going to be excellent for your mental health, and it activates that thing in your subconscious. I've told you it's like a computer. Whenever you celebrate something, that registers in your subconscious is like, oh, she likes this. We got to do more of this. And that's how you start to automate the process of achieving things. What it does is it registers in your reticular activating system in your brain. And your brain will look out for more opportunities to achieve things. And then again, with more celebrations and more getting stuff done, it will keep working, it will keep working, and then it will automate itself. The brain is incredibly interesting. Let me just check what Dave says. Do you believe writing groups or just groups in general, like art, crafting, and painting, helps with perseverance and inspiration? Do you believe it could help with getting you out of your own way? Yes, definitely. Because whenever you are in groups like that, you are exposed to so many types of people from different walks of life. They may be experiencing similar things to you, which helps with camaraderie and helping you feel like you're not alone. They may be further along the path than yourself, which makes you feel like, okay, if they can do it, then I can do it. Like, there's no reason I can't. It can help you realize that you don't have to get it all done immediately. You can take small steps every day in the direction of your goals and still win. And my favorite quote is like, it doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop. Actually, that's my second favorite quote. My first one is, a river cuts through a rock, not because of its power, but because of its perseverance. And that is by James N. Watkins. And I love it. I love it. Because that's me. I have been chronically ill and disabled for the past, what year are we now? So 12 years. And I've been housebound pretty much the entire time. I literally just get to go to my parents', which is where I am now, or my own house. And there have definitely been times where my mental health has suffered, but so I don't know if you know my story, Dave, probably not since you're new to the channel, but I had 3 breakdowns in the space of just a few years. And after the third one, I was like, never again will this happen, never again. So I got the help, I got the therapy that I needed, I got the coaching. I made the decision that this kind of thing was never going to happen again. I made the decision that I was going to get out of bed and I was going to enjoy my life no matter what. And it was just small steps every day that got me there. And the help that I received and the coaching and everything that I received, it was so transformational that I was like, okay, I have to go and study this so I can share it with the world because it really is transformational. I used to live on automatic negative thinking. I really do believe I had PTSD and depression and anxiety. The latter 2 were diagnosed officially, but like you had all the symptoms. And I did a lot of reading, I did a lot of learning, and a lot of self-acceptance, self-love, and gratitude journaling and meditations. Do you meditate, Dave? So if any of you are interested in connecting with me and talking more about this kind of stuff, you can book a free 15-minute call and we can connect via clairedb.com/book. And of course, we have tons of free resources. Dave, I will get into the comments after I get off my live and share the video that I was talking about just the effects of stress and fatigue, because I think it will really help you. And then there are 4 things that I like to do to really reduce stress, because that, when I said earlier, my only job is to feel good, that truly is it. If I don't feel good, I will meditate, I will do the work. And there are days when I don't feel like doing it. Of course there are, I'm a human being, but I really try not to judge myself too harshly. Yeah, that can, it can be. And putting it into practice though, whenever you look at it like, okay, so I may not want to do this right now, but I know that in 3 years I'm going to be happier than I have ever been, then it makes it so much easier to do the exercises and like I didn't just bloom like this. This is what year are we now? 2021. Gonna count. So 6 years. It's been, no, 7 years. 7 years since my last breakdown, when I switched from automatic negative thinking to automatic positive thinking. And it has taken a lot of that self-development and personal development work. That is fantastic, Claire. I'm really glad to hear that. But yeah, taking care of myself and my mental health has been my #1 priority ever since then. And of course, I will, like, hormones can be a real kick in the arse, and I know I can't control that, but practicing meditation has it completely changed my life. I accept more, I forgive faster, I'm less judgmental. Yeah, definitely way more accepting, like I said, less judgmental, and that is to others and also myself. And I just feel a lot lighter. I don't have that heaviness that used to bog me down. And I was bad, I really was bad. But it's possible to heal, which is important. It may not happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. It can't. but there are so many techniques, and there's so much science around happiness, about positivity, about healing, about getting help, that we can use all of these tips to really live a life in harmony and balance. We really can. It is possible. And whenever you realize that the lives that we lead, we are just living lives based on perspective. So there might be an argument that two of us see, but your perspective is going to be different to my perspective. And that's kind of how it is for everything. But what is really, really vital to remember, that #1, thoughts are not facts. And #2, a fact is a fact 100% of the time until it's not. And what I mean by that is a scientific fact. Like, scientists will come up with a hypothesis, then it will become a theory, and then it will become scientific fact until something new develops, and then they adjust their hypothesis, their theory, and then the new fact. So a fact is a fact 100% of the time. And I find that that definitely helps me if I feel something negative, maybe about an interaction with somebody. You know what I mean? Say you're at the supermarket, somebody was really rude, and you're like, oh my God, she hates me. It's like, no, she most likely does not hate you. She most likely just had a crappy day at home. Maybe she's got 5 kids. Oh, Becca, you're so late. I'm nearly finishing up here, but welcome. So yeah, just remembering all these things, it's been so vital to my recovery and my healing. And I want to be that beacon of hope for other people, and I want to help. I want to guide you to wherever it is you want to go. And I would be thrilled to catch up with you and chat to you. And Dave, I will send you those links just as soon as I go here. I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. I will add a wee poll in the Facebook group as well, Dave, if you fancy joining that. It is all about kind of arts and crafts and mental health, but you are more than welcome. I've just put the ticker along the bottom, so it's a very easy link for you to follow. And that way you can choose next week's topic. And then, of course, I'm going to be going live on Monday at 6 p.m. British summertime, which is an hour earlier than when we started today. So let me see. Yes, that's wonderful. Yeah, so it takes about 8 weeks for it to take effect, which is why kind of like the minimum amount of art therapy sessions that you should get would be 8. Even counseling therapy, that's why the minimum is 8 weeks. So if you really want to notice a massive difference in your mental health in the next 30 days, I would recommend that every night before you go to sleep, you write yourself a gratitude list. And instead of saying, I'm grateful for, I would just tweak it using an Abraham Hicks method and say, isn't it wonderful to feel so? So isn't it wonderful to feel so appreciated? Isn't it wonderful to feel so loved? Isn't it wonderful to feel so supportive? Isn't it wonderful to really, the maximum seems to be 6 weeks. Is that for counselling sessions? Well, over here it's been 8 for me, at least. Every single one of them was 8. And that's why, because it takes 2 months. But yes, gratitudes. So isn't it wonderful to feel so, or isn't it wonderful to be so? Just starting with isn't it wonderful? You are phrasing it as a question. You will start to ingrain that belief into your brainium, basically the deepest parts of your subconscious. Here, is it for therapy? Because I definitely had 8. Maybe it's town based here, but it was definitely 8 sessions for me. Wonder why that is. I'll have a look. But yeah, just in my training and everything, it was always recommended as 8 weeks, and purely because that's how long it takes for your brain to rewire and for you to feel like it's actually taken action. But if you do that with the gratitude list every night for 30 days, it actually, so whenever your brain is searching for things to be grateful for, what you're doing is you're lighting up the brain that gets lit up if you take a wee dose of Prozac or whatever. And I say whatever, I mean other antidepressant, but it lights up the same area of the brain that Prozac would light up. So that's basically you getting a natural antidepressant for 30 days, and it starts to rewire your brain for more positive neural pathways, and it will really help you feel like you've got a footing on the path to healing. And yeah, that is quite likely. That's quite likely. Of course, you can have one-off sessions, but really the recommended, I'm going to say 6 to 8 weeks now, but 8 weeks is when you really notice a difference. Even if you stopped 6 weeks and continued on your own, like if continued the kind of exercises you were doing, that would still be incredibly helpful. And I just want to say thank you very much for joining me tonight, or this morning, or this afternoon, depending on where you are. And I have things to do for Dave's links. And then, of course, if you want to get into the Facebook group, there are things arranged under guides/units. I can't remember what it was renamed to, but the journaling workshop is going to be fantastic for those who struggle to journal, don't know what to write, or feel like they're writing the same thing every day, or feel like they're boring. And it's just how to explore your feelings and how to really get to the root of things that are bothering you. So thank you again so much for joining me, and I will see you on Monday.